In the past few days, I've been reading Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I found that the first habit is really life-changing, and I couldn't help but notice how can I find it in many great characters in movies and series that I admire. For instance, when you look at Tyrion Lannister, my favorite character in Game of Thrones, despite the fact that he's born as a dwarf with limited physical abilities, every time he faces an obstacle, whether it's getting captured, facing a death trial, or even being surrounded with a bunch of savages in the wood, he always focuses on his circle of influence, which is his ability to negotiate and persuade. He spent most of his time reading and educating himself, totally disregarding his physical condition and limitations, and channeling all his energy and focus on what he can control and can improve, which is his mind. On the other hand, when you look at a character like Matt Damon in The Martian, left alone on Mars by his crew, thinking that he's dead already while they were trying to escape a sudden storm, he finds himself in a position which he has no way to contact NASA, and it's 4 years before any expedition or rescue mission to reach him. And even worse, the lab that they constructed there is just designed to last only 31 days. Any breach happens, anything goes wrong, he will suffocate. And even if everything goes well, he will just starve to death. But instead of giving energy to any of these thoughts, he started focusing on his circle of influence, what he can do, which is growing food, as he is a botanist. He started running a series of experiments to find a means of communication with NASA and growing foods on Mars. And through a series of a lot of failures through the movie, he finally managed to communicate with them and get rescued by his crew and back to Earth. While all these characters are fictional, you can see the true embodiment of this in those renowned heroics of imprisoned individuals such as Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, and Viktor Frankl. Those are people who, even through the toughest circumstances, managed to keep their focus on their circle of influence and totally turn this present time into a workshop, and later on impacting millions of people with their contributions. So the idea is to not give any thought or energy to your circle of concerns, whether it's your boss, the weather, your family, the economic status, your landlord, whatever it is. You just channel all your energy into your circle of influence, the steps that you can take, the stuff you have control on, the things that you can learn. And just by doing that, your circle of influence starts growing, and day after day, your circle of concerns starts shrinking. And I found myself really guilty when it comes to this, because for a long time, I let the circumstances define who I am, not my own choices and decisions, and even use that to avoid responsibility. And admitting this was really emotionally hard. But hey, the first step of resolving any problem is actually to admit that I am flawed and then focus on my circle of influence. And with that, I would like to leave you with one of my favorite quotes that I finally think that I grasped from Napoleon Bonaparte, which goes like, circumstances, what are circumstances? I'll make circumstances. See you in the next video. Cheers.
And what are your choices if someone puts a gun to your head?
What are you talking about? You do what they say or they shoot you.
Wrong. You take the gun, or you pull out a bigger one, or you call their bluff, or you do any one of 146 other things. If you can't think for yourself, maybe you aren't cut out for this.